Hi, everybody. Welcome back. What we're going to be talking about today is the Black Panther film slash the comics, and the connection with Congolese history. So I'm all the way excited for this movie here. This movie seems to be like it's going to be one of the best movies, like a generational type movie. And why it's that is I think it pulls a lot of symbolism from like all of Africa, from north to south, ancient and modern Africa, even across the way, like Africans in the diaspora are represented, like the name Black Panther, a throwback to the Black Panther Party from the 60s. Even some of the suits here. So we know that Black Panther's name almost became Black Leopard, but they named him Black Panther. A Black Panther can be either a black jaguar or a black leopard. So the Black Panther is a black leopard, but his enemy in the film, Eric Killmonger, he has the golden jaguar suit, and jaguars come from Central and South America. So like it's like everybody in here. But what I want to pull out is the Congolese contribution, because a lot of times I feel like we don't have that collective confidence together to go out and say, yeah, we contributed to something. That's our story in there. So we're gonna try to pull that out a little bit here. So when we're talking about the Black Panther, where we want to start here is really with his kingdom. The Black Panther is a king, a warrior king. He is the king of the nation of Wakanda. Wakanda is what, according to the Wikipedia story here, it's a small nation fictionally located near South Sudan, Uganda, Kenya, so like in Eastern Africa. And what makes Wakanda special is that about 10,000 years ago, it was hit by a meteorite that deposited a rare mineral in Wakanda called vibranium. Now, vibranium becomes important in the comic book world with Captain America. So, the king of Wakanda is selling a small amount of his vibranium to the Americans to help develop his country, and the Americans in turn use that vibranium, mix it with other metals, and they make a shield out of it. They make Captain America's shield. Now, in the comic book, it's like President Roosevelt himself who presents Captain America with this shield. The Americans' enemy during World War II, we all know these are the Nazis. And yes, of course, Hitler had his own man in Wakanda. So if we look here at the biography of one of Black Panther's enemies, Ulysses Claw. Claw, he's the guy in the Black Panther trailer. He's the one sitting in the chair saying, "What do you know about Wakanda?" Blah blah blah. Like that's Ulysses Claw. His father, here, fake biography right there. His father was Colonel Fitz Claw. Was sent by Adolf Hitler to go to Wakanda to learn their secrets. He moved back to Belgium, changed his name, raised his son on stories of Wakanda. When Claw grew up, he himself went to Wakanda, stole some vibranium for himself, gets into a fight with the Black Panther and the Fantastic Four, and he ends up losing the fight against those guys in New York City. Now let's go into the real world and see if this foundational piece here was influenced at all by Congolese history. And we see that it was like straight up influenced by Congolese history. If you check this book here, it's called Spies in the Congo. It's a book that came out maybe 1 or 2 years ago, and it's the story about the nuclear bomb, really. So what happened is the nuclear bomb, the material to make the nuclear bomb, was really only found in one place. There was like some places in Canada that had some material we could use, some places elsewhere in the world, but really like the large part of it came from the Congo. So before we're talking about a mineral called vibranium, in real life it's uranium. Uranium was what they needed in World War II to make the atomic bomb. And this book here, Spies in the Congo, chronicles the contribution of this Congolese uranium. So we're not really it's something not well known, but it's something critical to world history. So what had happened back then was the smartest man in the world, Albert Einstein, kind of like Tony Stark's dad, like Iron Man's dad, who was like the guy helping to make the Iron Man shield. Well, like his company was not necessarily him directly, but he was part of the team. It's like Albert Einstein sends a letter to the president, Roosevelt, telling him that the Germans are moving ahead of the Americans in the development of the nuclear bomb, and that if they wanted to win the war, they had to do something about this. Now, the funny thing is that uranium was found throughout the world, but it was only enriched up to like 0.3, 0.5%. But there was one mine in the Congo that had an unheard of 75% enriched uranium one. So you had the Russians, the Americans, the Germans, the Japanese, all of them trying to get just this, trying to get the uranium from this one mine. It's called the Chinkolobwe mine in Congo. It's close to Likasi right now. So if you were born in Likasi, hey, you got a contribution to like something that literally shifted the balance of power during the war, like the most important thing, the most secret thing. So what was happening back then is they were sneaking the uranium out of the Congo, taking it to New York. Like I said before, the Claw was defeated in New York. New York is where they had the Manhattan Project. And the Manhattan Project, we talk about the Fantastic Four. There were it should be four countries that were there fighting alongside the Americans. Had the Americans, the British, the Canadians, and looks like here the Congolese, the Fantastic Four, fighting against the Nazis in New York, where they were able to make the bomb that was in, like, that won the war. The story is all here, and in Spies in the Congo, it's crazy because it's literally what we see in the comics. You have here like physicists that are spies and fighting against each other. It's good stuff. And what makes it even more like comic book style is like, check this released like CIA document here. So the CIA releases documents every once in a while. Like declassifies them, and one of them got declassified from this like time in the Congo, and it's about flying saucers over over Belgian Congo uranium mine, and it's a story about like two fiery discs that come over the mine, and there's like a brave commander, Commander Pierre, who gets in a fighter jet and like chases these things, and he gets like close enough to the discs. You can read this yourself, like it's just open source. You just go to the CIA library reading room and it's there for you. Just type in like Congo flying sausage and it'll come up. He got close enough to it to be able to like draw the flying sausage. So that's pretty neat. And we see here the parallels between like real life and the comic book world, and definitely influenced from Congo. Now, like looking at the leopard symbolism. So there were real people called like leopard men, like that were supposed to be protectors of the society. It was a secret cult called the leopard men or the Anyuta. You see here their Wikipedia page, and this page here needs work. It's not really up to par. We see here again, Congo is not mentioned at all. It's Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, but it's only saying West Africa. It was also a Central African cult, like mostly I think probably Central African, because even the term here Anyuta, I'm pretty sure that's a Central African term. The only place we see like the Congolese contribution is if you go to like in fiction, you see there that they mention like Tintin in Congo, Tarzan, and we're gonna talk about those things now. So a quick brief, I'll show you a quick clip here about how leopard men. They've been in comics for a while, and I just want to show you like how they were kind of represented. Here's a clip from a show called Corto Maltese. It's an Italian comic, and he also deals with the leopard men. Check this quick intro out here.
Good to see you, Tenton. I got your telegram yesterday.
My humble respects, sir. I brought a friend with me, Corto Maltese.
Welcome, Corto. Your friend O'Hara speaks very highly of you. Sit down. You too, Tenton. Take a seat. So, what's up? How are things in Gombe?
Not too bad. The children are growing up. But Superintendent Randall's had trouble with leopard men.
Here, too, we've had ritual sacrifices going on. We've been finding leopard paws and claws all over.
Who are these leopard men?
They're religious fanatics, bandits, more like. One day in Congo, the next in Angola. Anywhere they mean trouble.
I see. But they're not necessarily criminals. Maybe they have motives that we know nothing about. And at least they're keeping you busy, Captain.
You see there, the leopardmen start being represented in the comics. It's usually like a negative representation. In Corto Maltese, they take a positive spin on it, but typically it is negative. You'll see in the comics, like it tends to be kind of like a mirror world. It's like what is in the comic, it's almost like the opposite of that is like true in real life. So we saw with the vibranium mining, it's like in the comic book, the Americans used the vibranium to make a defensive weapon, like they made a shield. In real life, they were using it to make an offensive weapon, a bomb. And a lot of times we'll see like that parallel come into play like more and more as we go a bit deeper. But anyways, here's like Tintin in the Congo. Tintin in the Congo. This is the leopard man he fought. Um, he ends up beating this guy and again made this guy look pretty bad. Here's another representation of a leopard man in a museum in Belgium. So you see here again a negative representation. He's a leopard guy there looking to attack this woman. And some of them were bad. Like they got corrupt and they were actually attacking people. And it was a concern for the colonial authority, not just in terms of um, like kind of like suppressing culture, everything, but like crime and everything. Like it seemed to have gotten a bit out of hand there. Here's another leopard man, again a negative portrayal of the leopard man in a movie called Tarzan, like the new Tarzan movie. This actor right here, I can't ever pronounce his name properly, so I'm not gonna say it. But you see here like a leopard man again the representation. If you've seen like the trailer of this new Black Panther, you see here they're fighting like on water. There's a waterfall in the background, like warrior cult stuff. And this actor right here actually is the voice of the Black Panther in the animated series. And here we see him like Black Panther in real life. And we see here again the theme of art imitating life. And this is the bad guy in Tarzan. And we see here the bad guy is fighting um, with a Catholic rosary, and he's fighting this very muscular guy here, and he's able to beat him up with just that Catholic rosary. Again, this is art imitating life because we know in Congo that religion was really used as a weapon of oppression. We see him there choking this guy out all the way till he goes down to the ground, and the imagery is really strong because in Congo, we have this. These new protests now where like really it's art imitating life, like it's emotional stuff. It's art imitating life. We see here a lady protesting now with a rosary. Now we had the protest at the end of December and one in January. Looks like another one is coming up where we're using like it's flipped now. It's like we're using the things that were used to oppress us before to try to reclaim our freedom. And the theme in this Tarzan movie was essentially that Tarzan was fighting against the colonial government who were trying to turn the Congo into an open air prison. Now, what's changed? Nothing really. At the end of the marches, we see here peaceful marches, church people marching. And at the end of these marches, the most important Catholic authority in the Congo, Cardinal Mosengo, he ended up saying what they said in Tarzan, and that was that Congo really is an open air prison. It straight up is. So that's that art imitating life. Those messages we're supposed to get out of the movie, where we end up seeing it reflected in our lives. Now, Black Panther is a representation of a good king, of somebody who knows how to do it properly. These leopard men here, I showed you, they're the ones who went kind of off, kind of like our presidents, our leaders who didn't do things properly. Let's take a look here to see if we can find an example of how a good king is supposed to be, or like what that Black Panther really represents according to like our culture before. How we can try to help find that is there's a book here, a scholar by the name of Fukia. It's called African Cosmology of the Bantu Congo. So it's just how we used to think. What he tries to do is give us an understanding of how we thought before colonialism happened, and how Congolese or Bantu people, South Africa, like it's not unique to Congo, but how we thought about the world is, for us, the world was represented by this cross here. It's called the Dikenda, and how you can kind of understand it here. It's like the stages of the sun. It's kind of an Egyptian thing too. Egyptians had something similar. So the sun is here. It rises here. It's at its peak. Then it sets, and then it goes away. This is the land of the dark. Down here, the sun is not setting, and then the sun rises up again. This is the land of the living. So the world is kind of divided into two. The sun is able to go into all the stages, into the land of the living and the land of the dead. And for us, the dead wasn't like a creepy kind of zombie. Well, zombie, yeah, but not like worshiping the dead kind of thing. It wasn't some Halloween type stuff. It's just like energy. It's like your energy never goes away, like kind of what Einstein was saying. It's a continual spiral. We're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And this is used to explain like anything, like the life of a community. The community starts, it peaks, it sets, and then for those communities or those individuals that are excellent, like through excellence, you can come back. So it's resurrection par excellence. So this is that black excellence theme that we're picking up these days. Like this is where it actually comes from. If you're able to provide to your community, your time here on earth is not limited to the what's happening in the land of the living. Now these three stones here, like these three circles here, were what we called in Congo, it's called makuku matatu, and those are the three firestones. The three firestones that the Black Panther, or like the leader, was supposed to manipulate. And these three stones here, so you see here, it makes a triangle, just like it made a triangle over here. It made a triangle right here. Okay, let's fix this here. It makes it makes a triangle there, and so those are the firestones that the leader is supposed to control. So this represents here new energy. This represents energy at its peak, and this represents experience and energy. And how the leader was supposed to be able to control this here was that he had to have special attributes. So you had to have the attribute of science. So science, knowledge, that's innovation, that's the energy of the new. Then political knowledge to guide the community. That's when you're at your peak, at your strength. That's the energy at its peak, the energy to control. And then spiritual knowledge, that is the energy here. The energy here, that's the experience knowledge, the energy that's seen everything. That's that love energy right here. And going back to this Dikenda right here, this cross right here, the only way the leader could had gained that experience is if he went through this entire process here. If the leader was able to reach this stage here, then he has the perspective to see the triangle right side up. If you haven't gone down here, then what you end up doing is each of these values or each of these characteristics I just mentioned here, they have an opposite. So this triangle here can end up being an upside down triangle. Upside down triangle is kind of like we're living in the upside down now. Like if our leaders were good, kind of like in Wakanda, you see here that we'd have a land in Wakanda. The king has dignity, protects the people. In Congo, where our leaders don't follow this here, we don't have any dignity for the people. In the comic, Wakanda is a small country that's able to control who it sells its minerals to, and its minerals are able to provide for the country. In the case of Congo, it's a big country that has not been able to manage its resources well, and everybody just comes and takes it willy-nilly. So we see here that this principle really represents the kind of leader in that Black Panther that we've always wanted. And if you read this book here, you see that it's like it's a call that all of us had to be like that. It's not just like one person has to like do it. So this here, they're called Makuku Matatu, and they are the three firestones. And where this becomes important is that in the next Avengers movie, that movie is called the Infinity Wars. And in that Infinity Wars movie, what they're trying to do is collect these things called Infinity Stones. And you put them like very powerful gems. You put on a glove, and whoever has all six, is like the most powerful person in the galaxy, essentially. But if we look here at the Infinity Stones themselves, one of the stones, the stone that people think that the Black Panther is gonna like be able to provide is the one called the Soul Stone. Like you got soul, like that spirit stone. And if we look here, this is the Wikipedia page for the Infinity Stones. The definition of the Soul Stone is that it allows the user to steal, control, manipulate, and alter living and dead souls. The soul is also the gateway to the idyllic pocket universe. At full potential, the soul gem grants the user control over all life in the universe. So we see there that it's really representative of this, being able to go from the spirit world into the living world. Here with the Congolese, we represented as three stones. There, it's one soul stone, but the connection is there. So what does this all mean for us? This really for us, it's that, like I said before with the Tarzan stuff, is the story is fake, but the fight is real. The fight we saw in that Tarzan movie is real, even though the story is fiction. Or in the previous comic book iterations of when we see Black Panther giving the vibranium to the Americans to build weapons, it's like that's a false narrative, but the fight, the battle in there is real. And for us, it really all has to do with minerals. We know that um, Congolese minerals right now are being taken away by multinationals, by our own leaders, and it's making us suffer. And a lot of times, the way I see us Congolese is that we'll protest, we'll fight, we're justified, but we want that fight to be taken over by somebody more powerful than us. We haven't really seen examples of ourselves being in that position where we are the ultimate authority. Like right now, like in Canada, right now I'm in Canada, there's an initiative to protest here and to make like Justin Trudeau, because he's a feminist, want him to say a word about the rape happening in Congo, because there are Canadian companies there right now doing things that are helping to make the situation worse. Here's another article right here about Canadian companies that are benefiting there. You can find this simple Google search. But now we reach this stage where it really has to be us that breaks the silence. So right now you see here a fact sheet about another mineral now called coltan. Coltan is literally used to make all of these weapons here. If you have a cell phone that vibrates, like you probably have a piece of Congo like that you're carrying around. It's literally that much amount of minerals being taken away. But it's up to us now to stand up and to really care a lot. You know, we know that in war in Congo, we're breaking the silence. There was rape used as a weapon. Look at the Hollywood Me Too movement. These are Hollywood people who took this story essentially, and they're saying for the sexual violence they experienced, they're standing up and speaking out about it. And yet they took this story. They're silent. Are they wrong? No. It's up to us. Let us be inspired. Let us go and care so much that other people follow us. So I really want people to go watch this movie, to feel that, to come out of there feeling that, yes, we contributed to something. Our story is there. Not only that, but on the flip side of that, that we're able to see ourselves as people that can have influence, that people have power to change things. You know, and what makes it even a deeper connection is that I heard that the next march, there was a march against Kabila in December, one in January. I heard that the next one is coming out February 16th. February 16th is the same day that the Black Panther movie comes out. So I hope that people get on the street, people feel inspired, and people really change their destinies around. It's going to be a great time. It's literally our time. It really is.